Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to Grade B. So in this particular class we'll be talking about mutual funds, right? We are going to start talking about mutual funds, its types, what are the benefits, what are the different kinds of tools that are being used, right? And a whole lot of things regarding mutual funds. So let's start talking about it. Chaliye. So first and foremost thing, before starting with this, let's us discuss the structure of mutual funds and why mutual funds have came into existence. ठीक है, आए ही क्यों existence में? So see, I do not know about you, but the many people I know, they do not have a deeper understanding of how financial markets work, right? So there are two kinds of savings method that we have in general. Suppose I earn a particular amount in a month. Now, as a normal individual, I will spend a fraction of it and I would like to save. Fine. I would like to save the amount. Why I would like to save the amount? Because we do the savings because we never know our future needs. Number one thing, we might be having higher consumption needs in future. So that is the another thing. आप जो भी अर्न करते हैं उसको आप दो ही पार्ट में डिवाइड करते हैं, ईदर यू आर गोइंग टू स्पेंड और यू आर गोइंग टू सेव, या तो खर्चा करोगे या बचाओगे. नाउ इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन, सपोज आई लाइक टू सेव, ठीक है, मैं पैसे बचाना चाहती हूँ. नाउ अगेन आई हैव फ्यू ऑप्शंस, ईदर टू कीप इन वॉलेट or let's do it like this, either to keep at home, right, whatever savings you are having to keep in the lockers like our like our mummies do, right? So she'll kill me for that. Now keep at home, this particular thing. After this we have another options. What are the other options? Number one is keep at home. Then we have some traditional saving tools. And then we come at financial markets. Right. So what are the traditional tools? Now traditionally it has been said that if you have got some money, deposit it. So what we do is, हम एक FD खोल लेते हैं बैंक में, or we keep the amount in the savings account, right? Or we keep the we take a fixed deposit in the bank, right? So these are the options that we have in traditional tools. But the amount of interest that is offered in these traditional ways of savings in your banks or like any other mechanism traditionally, that doesn't gives us a higher rate of return, okay? Because they are practically risk-free scenarios. Now in your traditional tools you can also take government securities, but वो ऐसे part हो जाएगा दूसरे का ही. Government securities are also without headache investment options. For example, government brought in sovereign gold bonds scheme, right? Sovereign gold bonds में क्या है कि you will get the return of gold. Now why do people invest in gold? लोग invest क्यों करते हैं? Although gold investment is not a really good investment on many parameters, but हम वो discuss नहीं करेंगे. हम gold में क्यों invest करते हैं? Why do we purchase gold? Number one is for the fashion, ठीक है, या ऑर्नामेंटल वैल्यूज और जो भी कुछ है दिखाने के लिए, दिखावा करने के लिए या पहनने के लिए. सम पीपल रियली लाइक गोल्ड ज्वेलरीज एंड एटसेट्रा ऑल ऑफ दैट थिंग आर देयर, राइट? Few people like it, few people want to show it off, and there are so many factors. But many people also purchase golds because they consider it as a safe investment, ठीक है, वो उसको सेफ इन्वेस्टमेंट मानते हैं. सो व्हाट गवर्नमेंट सेड वाज दैट परचेज आवर बॉन्ड्स, द रिटर्न्स are linked to the gold prices, ठीक है. जितना आप गोल्ड में कमाओगे उतना ही आप हमारे यहाँ इन्वेस्ट कर लो. The difference is only that you are not having gold, physical gold with you. ठीक है, बाकी returns आपको उतने ही मिलेंगे. So that was also a win-win situation. So these are called some traditional tools, right? अब जैसे गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में there is no risk for me. If I am opening a fixed deposit, there is no risk for me. If I have put my money in the savings deposit, interest is very meager, but still there is no risk if I see the whole situation. But there are people who would like to earn more. ठीक है, ज़्यादा रिस्क लेंगे लेकिन ज़्यादा रिटर्न कमाएंगे. So for such kind of people we have financial markets. इनके लिए हमारे पास फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स हैं. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट नाउ कम्स योर शेयर्स, राइट, योर डिबेंचर्स, etc. These are the different tools which gives you higher returns than this. Sorry, this gives you higher returns than this. Traditional से तो ज़्यादा रिटर्न देते हैं, but the problem is risk is more over here. यहाँ पे क्या है, आपके पास रिस्क थोड़ा ज़्यादा है. But after that comes a point. People like I know many people who do not have any knowledge about share market. ठीक है, how does share market works, right? What are the movements in the share market? When one should invest, when one should withdraw, when one should wait, right? So these are the things that you get to learn when you spend quite some amount of time in the stock market. ठीक है, जब आप नॉट जस्ट स्टॉक मार्केट, जब आप फाइनेंशियल मार्केट में थोड़ा टाइम बिता लेते हो. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप अभी यू आर डूइंग RBI रिलेटेड स्टडीज. ओके, नाउ I do not know that what is your time span of studying, but I am assuming that you have at least given 2-3 years of your life for this government exam preparation. I am assuming this, right? So once you have given your 2-3 years, you have got some learning out of it. आपको कुछ learning मिल गई है, and now you know that how you shall proceed for these kind of examinations. But taking this back to our financial market scenario, there are many people who do not know how does financial markets operate, and for them mutual funds is a boon. ठीक है, so mutual funds में बहुत सारी facilities होती हैं. Let us see what. So this is your mutual funds. There are investors. ये जो investors हैं, they give their money to mutual funds, right? What does these mutual funds people do? They invest this money in, let's say, shares, debentures, deposits, commercial paper, like that, government securities, right? Now how does this mutual funds people do this? Let me just, हाँ आइए. So कैसे करते कैसे हैं ये, right? How does they do it? So there are professional fund managers. ठीक है, these are the professional people. They have the knowledge of the market. इनको फाइनेंशियल मार्केट की अच्छी नॉलेज होती है. Why do they have knowledge? Because they have experience in it. They have done work in this particular field, right? So here investors are securing their money in a way, right? Obviously the risk still remains. You are investing your money in shares, debentures, etc. There is risk. This risk is not going anywhere, but at least through mutual funds it is a calculated risk. ठीक है, ये calculated risk है. I guess this much introduction is enough for anyone who does not know even a thing about mutual fund. ठीक है, इतना काफी है. Obviously these fund managers or mutual funds are not doing this service for free. They are going to charge their फंड हैंडलिंग फीसेज एंड एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टर्स, ठीक है, इसके लिए भी वी हैव द गाइडलाइंस फॉर इट, but they are going to charge, they are not going to provide these services for free. So these are the basics that we have. Now let's start reading about it. And also one more thing, so when mutual funds they invest in certain securities, we call it a portfolio. Portfolio का मतलब क्या होता है? Portfolio is like a basket, like you might have seen gift baskets, right? Gift baskets में क्या होता है, या किसी भी gifting pack में, if you ever see a gifting pack, what is there? There is combination of so many things. There are so many things in it. Like if we see a Cadbury celebrations pack, there are chocolates, different chocolates, right? So similarly, portfolio of securities, different securities are there to balance the risk, ठीक है? अच्छा, next thing is mutual funds owner, they also divide their schemes. They have multiple schemes. अलग अलग लोगों के लिए अलग अलग schemes, right? Means different type of investors, they have different type of requirements, and for different requirements they have different sort of schemes. Just like insurance में देखो क्या होता है ना, like everybody has a different need, so insurance policies are customized for the person, right? So the similar say cases over here as well. Now just wait for a second please. Just wait for a second. Yes, let's start. So mutual funds owner, they are going mutual fund managers, they are going to have different schemes. Someone wants to have high returns, right? Then they have to take high risks as well. And someone doesn't want to have high risk, and so they are ready to take lower returns as well. So needs के हिसाब से we are going to see different sort of schemes. Okay, these are the things that we are going to witness in mutual funds chapter. Let's start it. So a mutual fund is a trust. Why we are calling it a trust? Because it takes money from people and then invest that money on their behalf. Okay, that pools the savings of number of investors who share a common financial goal. So the money thus collected is invested in the capital market instruments like equity shares, bonds, government securities, money market instruments, etc., etc. So these are the things where the investment happens. Mutual funds, they offer multiple choices for investment across equity shares, bonds, government securities, money market instruments, provide an excellent avenue for the retail investors to participate and benefit from the capital market. Retail investors, who are the retail investors? So number one thing, they do not have enough money. ठीक है, पहली बात तो ये, they do not have money in bulk. They have small amounts with them which they want to invest. जिसको ये invest करना चाहते हैं, this is the thing that they want to do. So retail investors who do not invest in the bulk but still they want to have the benefit of your financial market or money, your capital market, right? So for them, mutual funds is a great opportunity because they can choose to invest in small amounts. At the same time, they are taking the benefit of the movements of securities in the capital market. What is the main advantage? So you can invest in varieties of securities for relatively low cost and leave the investment decisions on a professional. So your money, still there are chances of risk, right? There is no denying. Mutual funds ke case mein you cannot say that you do not have any sort of risk is there, but you have a professional manager, so risk is reduced up to a certain extent. Risk is not eliminated, but it is reduced. The income earned through these investments and the capital appreciation realized are shared by its unit holders in the proportion to the number of units owned by them. So a mutual funds is one of the most suitable investments for the common man. It offers the opportunity to invest in a diversified professional portfolio. Diversified means, suppose if a mutual fund is having 1 lakh rupees, it is not going to invest the total 1 lakh rupees in the debentures of a certain company. ठीक है, सारे 1 लाख रुपए एक ही जगह नहीं लगा देंगे. We are going to diversify it. We are going to put 1 lakh, out of 1 lakh, let's say 20,000 we might invest in government security, 20,000 we might invest in equity shares, 20,000 we might invest in the debentures. So this is how it is diversified. Diversified मतलब आपने थोड़ा थोड़ा रिस्क हर जगह बांट दिया है, right? Now it is ideal tool for people who want to invest but they don't want to be bothered with deciphering the numbers and deciding whether a stock is good to buy or not. You do not want to take the investment decisions, right? So this is a good enough option for you. When you invest in a mutual fund, you are pooling your money with many other investors. अच्छा देखो, suppose you were investing, you are having just 10,000 rupees, or let's say 15,000 rupees, okay? And when 10 other people, they are also investing with you in just one fund, now together you have 1,50,000 rupees, right? So don't you think that when money is large, a good deal can be entered into, versus when you were investing alone with just 10,000 rupees in your hand? And now there is a group of 10 to 20 people who are investing along with you and money is large, right? So a good deal also can be cracked up. So this is how the power of retail investors is pooled up and it is converted into a wholesale kind of investment through mutual funds. So you are pooling your money with many other investors. Mutual fund issues units against the amounts invested as per the prevailing NAV. अब देखो, suppose a very brief example, very short example I shall give you. There is a mutual fund, right? This mutual fund has invested in some securities. These securities, now the market value of these securities are 2 lakh rupees together. And in this scheme, there are 1 lakh units. So what is the NAV? It is 2, right? It is 2 rupees. Now, if I would like to buy 1 unit of this particular scheme, then I will have to pay 2 rupees. If I want to buy 10,000 units, then I need to pay what? I need to pay 20,000 rupees. So the assets in the scheme are valued and these are divided into units. The similar kind of thing that we do in shares, right? हम शेयर्स असेट्स को समझ लो, आप शेयर्स से डिवाइड कर लो. सो इन केस ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड वी डू नॉट हैव शेयर्स. व्हाट डू वी हैव इज कॉल्ड एज यूनिट्स. हम इसको क्या बोलते हैं? यूनिट्स. ओके. So this is what has been said, that if you are pooling your money with many other, mutual fund issues units against the amount invested at the prevailing NAV. Okay. Returns from a mutual funds may include income distributors to investors out of dividends, interest, capital gain or any other income. You can also have capital gains if you sell mutual funds unit for more or less than the amount invested. I purchased mutual fund units for 10,000 rupees and now I am selling it for 20,000 rupees. This is what? This is capital gain. Capital gain क्या होता है? Just like suppose you have a land. That land you purchased for 5 lakh rupees and now you are selling it for 10 lakh rupees. So ये 5 lakh का extra difference क्या है? This is your capital gain, right? So the why we are calling it as a capital gain? See, revenue and capital, these are the two different things. दो अलग-अलग चीजें हैं. In case of revenue, what we talk about is that revenue is the earning that you earn from the daily sort of business, right? What you do on day-to-day basis. And capital is once in a while. If you are disposing of your assets, you are reducing your assets, that is what denotes the capital. So here why I am calling it as a capital gain, because holding some mutual funds unit was an asset for me. ये मेरे लिए क्या था? Asset. And if I am selling this particular asset now, then this is what? This is a capital gain for me. If I am selling it into a profit. और अगर loss हुआ तो capital loss है, right? So mutual funds are established in the form of trust in Indian Trust Act 1882 in accordance with the SEBI Mutual Funds Regulations 1996. Indian Trust Act 1882 के अंदर बनाया गया है, and then there are regulations by the SEBI in 1996. I have told you that SEBI is a market regulator, right? So anything and everything that talks about capital market or anything that concerns capital market, SEBI makes regulation onto it, and SEBI Mutual Funds Regulation 1996 is a part and parcel of that. A mutual fund established under the Indian Trust Act to raise money through the sale of units to the public for investing in capital market. Funds thus collected as per the direction of asset management company. Mutual funds has to be SEBI registered and they are regulated by the SEBI. Because in the first line itself we get the understanding that mutual fund owners, what they invest primarily is in the capital markets. ठीक है, capital market में operate करते हैं, they invest in the capital market securities. So when they invest in it, so obviously they are going to be regulated by SEBI only. Now we have reached the next part. The next part is the types of mutual funds. So the journey of mutual funds also started with the Unit Trust of India in the 1963. This is also a factual data that you can remember. Now open-ended scheme matlab, this open-ended and close-ended, this term is relevant with respect to time. ठीक है? You are going to see how this is relevant with the time. I will explain to you, but remember this. Open-ended, close-ended, both deal with the time. So open-ended schemes usually do not have a fixed maturity period and they are available for subscription or redemption on ongoing basis. I do not know whether it is a correct example or not, but just how you might have seen in Gurudwaras, there is a community kitchen, right? Community kitchen and a community dinner, lunch, whatever you might call it, that is served. ठीक है, लंगर बोलते हैं हिंदी में, we call it as langar. So what happens in that particular community kitchen or community space? You can come at any time, eat and go. ठीक है, there is no restriction. So the similar kind of thing is over here, open-ended scheme as well. Come at any particular time, go at any particular time, there is no restriction. We are not going to hold up your funds. There is close-ended scheme as well. So वहाँ पे कुछ restrictions हैं, we are going to talk about it. But first let's focus on the open-ended scheme. So open-ended scheme, they usually do not have a fixed maturity period. They are available for subscription, means whenever you want to come in, you can, and whenever you want to redeem matlab you want to sell your units and you want to take your money back. So at any time you want to come, at any time you want to redeem, you can do it on an ongoing basis. The units can be bought and sold at any time during the life of the scheme. Open-ended schemes, they can issue and redeem units at any time. Now NAV related prices matlab, see, just like shares have prices, right? For whole day there are share related prices at which shares are traded. So similar way mutual funds also have prices attached to it. Mutual funds में भी क्या होता है, prices होती हैं, NAV related prices. Now share prices, they keep on changing every moment, but the NAV related prices, your the total assets divided by your assets of the funds divided by your units, that what gives you NAV, right? So in such a situation, that settlement happens at the end of the day, and for every day you have an NAV. So if you want to purchase, you can purchase it at that particular price, and if you want to sell, then you can sell at that particular time. Now, close-ended scheme, let us see this as well. So, close-ended schemes, they cannot issue new units except in case of bonus or right issue. Means issue will happen at one particular time only. Number of units of an open-ended scheme, they can fluctuate on daily basis because some people will purchase, some people will sell in the open-ended. But over here, this is not the case with close-ended, right? Explaining the difference, new investors can join the scheme by directly applying to mutual funds at applicable net assets value in case of open-ended, while that is not the case in case of close-ended, where new investors can buy units from secondary market only. Now, what is happening over here? Let me explain you through this, otherwise you will not be able to explain. This is case 1. Mutual fund. Case 2. Mutual fund. Okay. Now in this particular scenario, this is open-ended. And this is close-ended. Suppose I want to buy certain units of this particular scheme, open-ended scheme. I want to buy certain units. I can go directly to the mutual fund and I will say that I would like to buy. They will say yes, NAV price is trading on this particular rate and you can buy at it. I bought it, okay. But in case of mutual fund scheme, which is close-ended, here the units are issued just at the opening. When this scheme was opened at that particular day or at that particular time, the units were given to the investors. After that, now the mutual fund has no role. ठीक है, इसके बाद हो सकता है just like in case of shares, what happens once the company has issued some shares, right? Once the company has issued some shares, after that company doesn't takes any interest. If you want to buy company shares, go buy in the secondary market, that means on stock exchange. Similar is the process over here as well in close-ended, right? What is going to happen over here? Once the mutual fund has issued units of this particular scheme, again and again units will not be issued by mutual funds. At one particular time and date it will be issued. After that issue will be closed. Now if I would like to buy some units of this mutual funds, I would have to buy in the stock exchange, right? I can buy it from the stock exchange. I cannot buy from this mutual fund. This mutual fund will say कि हमने this mutual fund is going to say that we have once issued the units and now we do not have any sort of interest in it. If you would like to buy our securities, then please buy it from the stock exchange. ठीक है, आप stock exchange से खरीदिए. Wait. Yes. Now we have interval schemes. Now interval schemes क्या होगी? Interval scheme is the mixed up, right? दोनों का थोड़ा थोड़ा mix up. So interval schemes, they combine the features of open-ended and the close-ended schemes. They are open for sale or redemption during the predetermined intervals. That means mutual fund is going to open this particular scheme for the specific time period. थोड़े specific time period के लिए ही open किया जाएगा. Right? Now next we have asset management company. The company which manages mutual fund, ठीक है? म्यूचुअल फंड को जो कंपनी मैनेज करती है उसी को हम असेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी कहते हैं. What is mutual fund? Mutual fund is an asset where the money has been taken from the investors and it is being invested in certain assets, right? So we need a certain organization for managing this, and this organization we call it as an asset management company. An asset management company is a company that invests its clients' pooled funds into securities that match the declared financial objective. Asset management companies, they provide investors with more diversification and investing options than they would have themselves. Matlab, whatever knowledge you might be having, they are going to give you more knowledge than that. AMCs manage mutual funds, hedge funds, pension plans. These companies earn income by charging service fees or commissions to their clients, right? They are not going to provide anything for free. Suppose somebody is giving you some service, right? So they are going to charge for this. Here, asset management companies, they are providing you the services of fund management. They are taking money from you, but they are investing it in good assets so that you can earn as per your requirements. Suppose I want stable earning. मुझे stable earning चाहिए, and also I do not want any risk to my investment. I want that whatever 1 lakh I have investment, whatever 1 lakh I had invested, there should be minimum risk, as minimum as it can get, right? So mutual fund schemes that are designed as per the objectives. There are some investors who want high risk, high returns. For them, there are different schemes. There are investors who do not want, they want stable returns but low risk. So there are schemes for them as well. Okay. Mutual funds terminologies, let us see this. First of all, we have offer document. Now, many of the things you will see, they are quite, you can see, you can find the comparison along with the companies, right? How does companies issue shares? You can just find a comparison along with that. What happens, I'll tell you. So understand in this, suppose there is a company, right? That this company wants to raise some money. If you want to raise some money, you have to tell your investors that what is the purpose for which you are raising the money. किस लिए उठा रहे हो आप पैसे? You need money, good. But what purpose you need that money for? Now you have to tell the purpose, because by telling the purpose, investors will be informed, and if they would like to make an investment into you, they will make, right? And because in today's world, we are living under a regulator called as SEBI, and SEBI doesn't want that the investor shall face any amount of risk. So for that purpose, this is also really, really important. So we have an offer document with us. Offer document shall have two parts: scheme information document and statement of additional information. Remember it clearly. SID, scheme information document, and statement of additional information. Now from the name itself, it is really very clear, but still we are going to talk about it. The scheme information document, it shall contain all informations relevant to the scheme. Additional information statement shall incorporate all the statutory information on the mutual funds. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब देखो इसमें फर्क क्या है? What is the difference over here? So just see very, very carefully. This is a mutual fund. This single mutual fund can have many schemes under it. अभी आप देखेंगे, there are different sort of schemes, right? As per the investment objective that you are having. So this might be scheme number 1, scheme number 2, scheme number 3, scheme number 4. Understanding my point? One mutual fund will be having different sort of schemes. Why different schemes? Because objectives, investment objectives are different. हर किसी का अलग अपना, what you can say, there is a different mechanism how they want to earn the money. So for that purpose. Now in the SID, the document that we just saw, statement of your your schemes related information. In that particular thing you will find the informations related to that. And then we had SAI. Under SAI you are going to see statutory information regarding the mutual funds. ठीक है, वहां पे आप म्यूचुअल फंड्स के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन देखेंगे. दैट मीन्स for mutual funds we are going to have one document, but for different schemes we are going to have different SIDs. See over here. Scheme information document, for every scheme you are going to have it differently, and scheme for statement of additional information you will have all the statutory information regarding the mutual funds over here. Now your asset management company which runs the mutual fund, they raise money in new schemes through new fund offer. Offer document contains key details about the new fund offer, that whether it is an open-ended, close-ended, what are the objectives, what is the nature, right? How we are going to do the investments, right? On what should be our guidelines, what are the investment objectives, etc., etc. Now let's talk about the scheme information document. It is one of the part of the offer document where we'll be talking about the scheme. So scheme information document, a document that contains the details of the scheme. Scheme name on the cover page along with the scheme structure, open-ended or close-ended. Then what is going to be the nature? Is it an equity scheme, debt scheme, balanced, liquid, ETF? ठीक है, बैलेंस्ड मतलब कि सब में इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, दोनों में थोड़ा थोड़ा. लिक्विड मीन्स here you are focusing on the liquid instruments that can be converted into cash really easily. Now this kind of scheme might be preferred by a person who wants to invest but for a short time, ठीक है, because he is thinking that I might need the funds at any particular moment. So for investors like that we have liquid schemes as well. ETF क्या होता है? It is exchange traded funds. Under exchange traded funds, this is going to match an exchange. This is a complex topic. We are going to talk about it when we are going to read this particular topic. Okay, ETF is exchange traded funds. Exchange traded funds में देखो क्या होता है? You get the liquidity more easily. The prices are available more easily, and it aims to imitate an index. So that is why I am telling you that this is a complex topic, and this I will be able to explain it more comprehensively when we will talk about it, and we will see an example for that as well. Okay. Next is, what else we are going to see under the scheme related document? We will see highlights of the scheme, risk factors, standards and scheme specific, pure due diligence certificate, fees and expenses, rights, penalties and litigations. You can see everything has been given over here. Now due diligence means all the rules and regulations have been complied over here. Risk factors means, see, because it is a market related product, and it does have various different kinds of risk. So it is the duty of the asset management company to disclose all sort of risk clearly, so that investor can make an objective decision. Objective decision मतलब कि हाँ कि वो सोच सके कि okay, this is how I shall proceed. Okay. Next is the statement of additional information. Here we will be talking about the statutory informations related to the mutual funds. So what kind of information related to mutual funds will be provided? Information about the sponsors, trustees, custodians, registrars, etc. Condensed information about the schemes launched in the last 3 financial year. आपने पहले कैसा परफॉर्म किया है? How is your performance in the past, right? On the basis of that, we are going to decide, or the investors shall decide, that whether they would like to invest with you or not. आपको अपनी performance, अच्छा ये नहीं that you do not have to tell the detailed performance, you have to tell the condensed performance. Condensed performance मतलब कि थोड़ा बहुत बता दो. थोड़ा बहुत का मतलब क्या? Obviously what has been the scheme fund, कितना पैसा था, and how much returns you made onto it, कितना आपको return वगैरह कितना क्या हुआ, right? What has been the loss position and all such things. Basically an investor is interested in that thing only. Next is information on how to apply, rights of unit holders, fund managers के details, the professional managers who are going to handle this particular fund, details on them, tax, legal and other general information as well. What did I didn't tell you? I told you everything, right? Sponsors, mutual fund trustees, custodians. Custodians are the person who keep the physical safety of your security. So for example, suppose I bought gold, okay, and I deposited it into with my bank in locker facility. So here bank is acting as a custodian. Bank is ensuring the physical safety of my gold. So अब यहाँ पे जो assets purchase की जाएंगी, we need a physical safety for them as well. So custodians are playing those role. Now the trustees are the persons who are appointed. They look after that whether the scheme is managed into its complete what you can say complete compliance or not. Is there any problem related to it? Are all the rules and regulations applicable, whether they are complied by the fund managers? Is any problematic action has been taken by the fund managers which might cause loss to the investors? So basically trustee is the watchdog for the investors. ठीक है, watchdog का मतलब वो देखते हैं कि कहीं इन्वेस्टर्स के इंटरेस्ट के साथ कुछ गलत तो नहीं हो रहा. So this is their role. Okay, sponsors, see, for establishing a company you need certain people who are coming forward and investing with that particular idea. So these are called as sponsors, right? Who are providing you the money to start a company and who are holding stake in your company. So these are the persons who lead your business to a rightful path. After this we have key information memorandum. Key information memorandum क्या है, आइए ये देख लेते हैं. तो this is nothing but just a summary of your scheme information document as well as a statement on additional information. So as per SEBI regulations, every application form should be accompanied by this. Now that the above two were detailed versions. ठीक है, ये क्या है, ये छोटा सा है. That means here the key informations will be written in a quick format, so that anyone who is applying can have a look at it quickly. Because see, SEBI also knows that it might not always be the case that investor will go through by each and every line. That we'll come on to. Let me complete this particular topic. See, have you already studied this? Are you studying it for repetitively? Have you completed the mutual funds topic with me before? Tell me. So this particular thing will come up to when we will be talking about ETF, right? I did tell you the ETF related thing. तो जब हम ETF करेंगे ना, वहाँ पे आपका ये थोड़ा काम आएगा. And basically here what happens is, I'll tell you, M2M concept is determined in relation to an exchange where the people are not giving money beforehand. Now कोई बात नहीं, I'll tell you what. See, mark to market principle is really important in the case of settlements, etc. See, in share market or in the capital market, what happens is, I just went in the capital market, I have given some security, but I have not given the total amount in one go. मैंने सारा पैसा एक बार में तो deposit नहीं करा दिया ना. Understanding my point? But in case of mutual funds, what happens is, if I want to buy units of mutual funds, I have to give money beforehand. मुझे पहले ही पूरा पैसा देना पड़ेगा. It cannot happen that I want to invest for 50,000 and I'm just investing a fraction of it, 10,000, and then carrying on the trading on it. So इसीलिए M2M concept will not be very much relevant over here, but this will be used when we will be talking about ETF. क्योंकि म्यूचुअल फंड्स में क्या होता है ना, you do the investments completely in one go. So this is the difference. Is it okay? Now let's see. Key information memorandum, a summary of the SID and SAI. So KIM has to be updated at least once a year. Requirement. Contents. What needs to be the contents of this? Name of AMC, mutual fund trust, trustees, fund managers, open and close dates, issue price, plans and options which are available, risk profiles, benchmark, dividend policy, what are the expenses, loads means the charges and expenses, contact information, performance of the scheme and the benchmarks over last 1, 3, 5 years since inceptions. अच्छा, benchmark क्या होते हैं? So benchmark, this kind of term is really useful when we try to match a particular standard. ठीक है? So for example, you are starting with a scheme and you are having a certain benchmark. Benchmark means you want to match up to that. So you have to tell that what is your benchmark for the particular scheme, what you are looking to achieve, and then what has been your performance previously, whether you have been able to achieve your benchmark or not. ठीक है, आप टाइम से अचीव कर भी पाए हैं या फिर नहीं कर पाए हैं. So these are all the things that you have to mention. Net assets value, the concept has already been discussed. This is how it has been calculated. Net assets divided by number of units outstanding, your NAV. The value of 1 unit of mutual funds on a given date, it has to be declared by the fund house on every business day. See, when it is not traded on the exchange, mutual funds have to declare it every day. Share prices, they change every moment, but here every day basis prices are announced. It is published on 2 national newspapers. It is a per unit market value of the securities of the scheme divided by the total number of units. What are the assets in mutual funds? These are the securities in which you have invested, जहां आपने invest already कर रखा है. So आपके whatever was your market value of the securities divided by the number of units. How many units you have issued to the investors? So this is going to be your net assets value. For example, if market value of the securities is 200 lakh rupees and mutual funds has issued 10 lakh units. 10 lakh units means kya? You can understand it in terms of your shares, right? Just how shares are issued. So these are your units. So 200 lakhs divided by 10 lakhs, INR 20 is the NAV per unit. Okay, this is your NAV per unit. So this is it that I wanted to talk about in the current session. Thank you so much for joining in.